Hello, hello. I'm outside, forgive me. Let's go ahead and get into this. I'm here just in time for tomorrow's event. And I think we're back in Las Vegas. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. UFC, that is. And it's actually a really stacked card. This could be a pay-per-view. This could be a huge standalone event on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and run through my picks because I also want to talk about the fight that happened last night, Thursday, on Bellator on the CBS Sports Network. We actually had a title belt there. So let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. So first, my picks for the next UFC event, which is tomorrow, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. First up, I'm choosing Bobby Green to beat Gegard Mousasi. I'm choosing Kevin Holland to beat Charlie Ontiveros. I am choosing Greg Hardy to beat Maurice Green. Now that one, they're both kind of developing at the same rate. However, I believe that Greg Hardy overall just simply has a more professional team as far as coaching, training partners, his facilities that he's at. He seems to be growing at a super rapid rate. And as a natural athlete coming from football, he seems to really just be taking to this. I think his size is going to be a problem. They're both big men, but Greg's going to be a bit bigger and thicker. They're actually around the same height. I believe Maurice is about 2 inches taller, 2-inch reach advantage, but they both have cardio issues, although I would say Maurice has worse cardio issues, actually. So they are both coming off wins. Again, they're both on the rise. However, I do think that Greg Hardy is just a bit further along. He shouldn't go to the ground with him, though. Maurice does have some slick submissions. He has some quick submissions, especially for a man of his size. So Greg needs to keep this standing and probably keep it in space, which seems kind of weird. I do think he's more powerful. Whew, but I'm actually really excited for this fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. And again, that heavyweight division slowly but surely is getting more and more talent-rich, more and more exciting fights there. But again, going with Greg Hardy. Next up, I'm choosing Andre Touchy-Philly to beat Bryce Mitchell. This one, too, as well. This is going to be a wild fight right here. This could be a show-stealing fight right here. I think Andre Fili, his mindset, he seems a bit more focused. However, again, this is the type of fight that could end in like a double knockout. So it's gonna be wild. And you know what, after some research I might switch the pick, so be looking out for my social media and all of that. But for now, Andre Fili, that's the co-main event. Now, main event, and we're gonna go ahead and break this one down. So we are seeing Uriah Hall take on, of course, the great and powerful living legend Anderson the Spider Silva. And according to him, this will be his last fight. I'm guessing win or lose, his last fight. And just real quick, thank you for everything, of course. And I didn't look up his age. Silly me, I believe he's 45. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Anderson Silva's age. I'm pretty sure he's 45. But either way, I hate seeing old punched out boxers who don't have all of their faculties in order. I don't like seeing like the retired football players who can barely walk upstairs, then they're only like 37. You know what I mean? Like I know it's hard to give up something that you love, something that's giving you so much, but unfortunately it's something that you can only do for a short amount of time. And I hate seeing my favorites, especially, any of them, but my favorites especially, not be able to go on and have success in the rest of their lives because they've given too much to their sport, especially a sport like fighting. Anderson Silva is beloved. He's actually already crossed over. He hosted a TV show for Netflix. He's in movies. He does guest stars on. He's already known to everyone else besides us fight fans. So I am happy that he is retiring before he gives us so much that he can't give us a different side of himself in these movies and TV. Like, we're still getting Anderson. We're still getting him. Okay? All right. So just that real quick. Love Anderson Silva. All right. Now let's talk about the fight here. I believe, again, tell me how old he is. I believe he's 45. Uriah Hall is 36, actually. He's older than I thought, but he hasn't taken too much damage. He's not really older in fight years. With him, it's always been his head. He's been inconsistent. He's always had all of the physical tools that you could ask for. It's always been the inconsistency, again, with his head. Plus, the losses that he does have in his spotty record are to high-ranking opponents, people like Mousasi, Costa, and stuff like that. So he's not losing to, non-quality opponents. So just let me say that. Uriah Hall is a second-degree black belt in karate, and you can see, I do believe he will be more powerful than Anderson Silva, not only with the hands, but with his kicks especially, and he needs to put those to work fast and early, make Anderson Silva question. Although Anderson Silva, he's not going to just come at him anyway, but you want to take away that lead leg, take away that mobility. That way Anderson Silva can't shuck and chive, can't do all of the misdirection, trying to bait beat you in the bad movement, all the old wily tricks that he now really leans on now that he has slowed down as a fighter. He's not as fast and he's really not as sharp. That's kind of the big thing that you can see with Anderson Silva. Just angles that he would have connected, punch would be sliding off instead of as accurate as normal, or just glancing off of the face instead of hitting flush like it would normally flush, or ducking out of the way but not quite enough like he normally would. You know what I mean? Like the angles, not only the way he fights but the way he defends himself just not quite as sharp as he has gotten older. So he's had to rely a lot more on misdirection, you know, with the hands, with the feet, trying to get you to fight out of character, try to bait you into bad movement, trying to see how you're going to move and defend yourself, to try to really plays a lot of those head games now, and they work to a certain extent. You have to be patient, level-headed, and calm with Anderson Silva. So he's going to do that. Size-wise, they're basically the same size. Uriah Hall has like a 2-inch reach advantage on the hands, and again, he will be more powerful, and I think he will be faster as well. If I had to bet money, if I wanted the sure bet, I would actually pick Uriah Hall, especially if his head is in the game. That's been the biggest question mark with him from the beginning. Will his head be in the game? One thing I didn't like about what he said about this up-and-coming fight, but he was talking about Israel Adesanya, and he said, because he wants a title shot, you know, he says, I've been waiting for someone like Israel Adesanya to excite me and get my head back into this game. And I said to myself, like, wait a minute, Uriah, you were supposed to be Israel Adesanya. Literally the same phrases and sentences that were said about Israel with the hype coming in were said about you. You're the new Anderson Silva. He's definitely going to be champion one day. This kid, that. The same exact things. So the fact that someone else had to come in to get your head in the game for you to, if it's more than that, if it's other issues, personal issues, I'd actually like to hear that. I don't want to hear that somebody else had to come in the game to inspire you to become who we thought you were going to become from the beginning. Oh, anyway, so if I had to bet money, I would pick Uriah Hall. I do believe that if his head's in the game, he is sharper, he is faster, he is more powerful, and he has a cool, calm head. He's a smart fighter, so he shouldn't fall for all those old wily tricks if his head is in the game. My heart is going to pick Anderson Silva. This is his farewell fight. You think I'm going to pick for him to lose? Of course not. So I'm just letting you know right now where I'm coming from. This is biasness. This is pure heart. This is his farewell fight, and I would like to see him win. Ha! Selfishness, picking Anderson Silva. Now, on to last night's fight with Bellator. We saw a crowning of a new champion for their middleweight division. The belt was vacated, and it was Gegard Mousasi versus. You know what? Why didn't I do this right? I'm so sorry. And new Bellator middleweight champion Gegard Mousasi. He successfully defeated Douglas Lima for the vacated middleweight Bellator championship belt. I guess they're doing stuff on Thursdays now. I watched it earlier today. I watched the whole fight, 5 rounds. It was an exciting fight, but it wasn't as competitive as I thought it would be because Douglas Lima didn't come forward. He's known for coming forward. He's really known for those kicks, which he didn't really employ until the 4th round. So the first 2 rounds, it was Gegard Mousasi. He started fast. He was early. He started with the hands to disguise his takedowns, and then he did get the takedowns in the first round with some nice ground and pound, elbows landed. So he really won that first round. It wasn't as dominant in the second, but he won the second round as well. Third, again, close. Third is when Douglas actually started to come forward, started to land some shots, and started to employ the kicks. But really, it was the 4th round that Douglas won. That's when, just in that one round, he tore apart Gegard Mousasi's lead leg. Actually had it black and blue. Actually had him walking on it differently to where in the 5th round, Gegard knew he had to get on him. He had to be first again. He had to take him down, which he managed to win that 5th round. So this was a unanimous decision in favor of Gegard. I totally agree with it. Of course, Douglas Lima is still the welterweight champion, so he was trying to be a 2-division champ. He actually looks nice for that size for the welterweight division. Apparently, he cuts like 30 pounds to fight at welterweight, so maybe eventually he'll go back to that division. He had some good fights against, of course, Rory McDonald, but for now, again, Gegard Mousasi is the 2-time Bellator middleweight champion, and next Thursday, is the debut of Corey Anderson from UFC, of course, in the light heavyweight division. He'll be taking on Melvin Manhoff, and those of us who really been following for a while, we know who Melvin Manhoff is. I think it's a name enough for him to come in. I think he's good. I hope he talks mad trash. I hope he calls out the champ immediately. And come in, make a splash, make some noise, give us some highlights. Let's talk about more than just the UFC. So come on in, Corey Anderson. I like Scott Coker kind of teasing Dana White a little bit. We got the best light heavyweight division in the world. Dana White's like, you got all the people I didn't keep. But I love it. I love it. I've said for years, UFC needs competition. So love it, love it, love it. Come on in, Corey Anderson. That's next Thursday. I will be on time to actually watch that live. So give me all your picks for tomorrow's event, of course, the UFC event. Give me how you did on the entire Bellator event, which happened yesterday. I actually did watch the whole thing, including the prelims with Jack Hager, and that's, of course, Jack Swagger from the WWE, in a kind of a competitive, for where he's at, fight, bloody fight, throwing blows. It was kind of a war. It was very interesting. It was kind of the main event of the prelims. So, Bellator has had some nice highlights, some nice finishes. So they do their thing. They do their thing. So let me know again all of your picks for tomorrow's UFC event, and let me know any recaps, any injury updates, and your thoughts on, of course, the Bellator event, which happened yesterday. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. Goodbye.